Hello, everybody! It is Macho's favorite time of the year. It's bracket season, baby! Kristen, are you ready for some bracket Battlebots action?
Ooh, yes, I am.
We got a lot to talk about. I appreciate all the support. Ooh, yeah! Now, Sleepy, why don't you come on in, as this format's gonna be a bit different. Ooh.
Oh,
There
snap.
she is. Here is what is at stake. We got the Battlebots Championship belt. Think of what you could do with this thing for an entire year. Yeah, Sleepy's had it for a record 2 years. The undisputed champion 2 years in a row, Sleepy Project. Do you guys think that you could take it from Sleepy? Sleepy, what do you have to say to people that think they are going to be able to take it from you?
Let's off.
Now, we are going to be talking about the Battlebots bracket. I think we wasted enough time here. So we will be talking about this side right here, starting with Riptide. We'll go here, down. Macho seemed to have put a incorrect picture over here. Do you remember the bot that's going against Shatter over there by you?
It's something.
It's so, it
Pretty
starts
sure
with
it's
an
like
R.
the big.
It ends with a E. It doesn't matter what that bot's name is. We got the biggest jabroni of them all, Riptide, gross, over by Macho, and we got Shatter over by Kristen. And Kristen, I almost forgot. Hi, everyone. The jabroni alarm has been tripped on
Hide
the
your
first,
kids.
the
Everyone
first
run.
fight. We got two jabronis facing off in the first round of the Battlebots bracket. Kristen, why don't you give us your thoughts about this match? We'll go Kristen, Sleepy, and then we'll wrap up with me, Macho.
All right. Well, I don't think any of us are looking forward to this fight. I'm sure it's going to be boring and annoying, regardless of the outcome. That is why this is Kristen's bathroom break match of the week. You know, the producers are not going to give us this fight first because they love drama. So whenever it does happen, just feel free to like trot away for a few. Nothing to see here. I am going to, for these picks tonight, go with what I put in my bracket though. And apparently when I made my bracket, I let logic go over everything else. So my pick. Even though Ethan is for sure the biggest jabroni of them all, that dang spinner of Riptide is hard to get past. And Shatter has been anything but impressive this season. So I don't have a ton of faith in them being able to bounce back from a hit from that spinner. Shatter will most likely be shattered all over the battle box by the end of this match. As we hate to see it. And don't hate me, Macho. Riptide here.
So sadly, I do have Riptide winning. Shatter has like no KO potential, I feel like. Like they're just, I don't know, I was watching some matches and they're just like struggling. Like I feel like all they do is just push people around. I don't think their weapon really does much. Yeah, I think Riptide is just gonna be throwing them little pretty chunks all over the place. It's gonna be sad to see.
As we all see, the jabroni alarm has been tripped in the first round. Now, around tournament time, Macho has to clear his mind and think rationally, as he is a professional Battlebots journalist. Riptide, in fact, isn't even on the jabroni list because his jabroniness is so extreme that it soils the very name jabroni. In fact, live on air right now, Macho is going to make a new word to call him because jabroni just won't cut it anymore. We will now call Riptide Nincompoop Brony. This idiot will lose to this jobber Shatter because it's going to get its hammer stuck in its chain. Yeah, Riptide sucks, and Macho hopes we never see him again. Hey, Ethan, take that robot design of yours that you stole and that your daddy funded, tie it in a knot, wipe your ass with it, turn it in a knot, turn that something sideways, and stick it straight up your candy. Now I know what you're thinking. Macho, it's gonna take a miracle from the Battlebots gods to pull this off. Don't worry, Macho's got this all covered. Battlebots gods, listen to Macho. Macho is willing to give you his firstborn son for Riptide to lose. That is how serious Macho is about this. Whether you need goat blood, the blood of a virgin, my firstborn child, it doesn't matter. Macho is willing to, his soul. Macho is putting his soul on the line. This isn't about the bracket anymore, people. This is about the sport. And if that's what Macho has to do, I am ready to lay it on the line. So be it. Ooh, yeah. And for those of you who think Riptide is going to win, Macho's got something special planned for you. I want you guys to all pull up your bracket, okay? Right here, follow along with me. Follow along. You're going to click on Riptide right here. You're going to click right here. You're going to click on this link, and you guys are going to get Rickrolled. Get Rickrolled, bitches. Riptide sucks. He will never be in Battlebots again. All right, we're going to keep on moving. We got our second match. We got Lucky over by Macho, and we got Hypershock over by Kristen. Kristen, who's going to win this matchup and why?
The man, the myth, the legend with an equally hot wife, Will Bales, is ready for a redemption arc here. I know Lucky's driver is pretty great, but he's no Will Bales. I think Hypershock will be able to drive circles around Lucky tonight and avoid their very odd flipper puncher mechanism. Will this match end in a knockout, though? I'm not so sure. With the skill of both teams, I could see it going the full 3 minutes and then giving the judge bronies a chance to make us all sweat, which I am nervous for. But I have enough faith that Hypershock will get the win tonight, no matter what.
I know C was saying that Hypershock was having some issues with getting flipped over and righting itself. And Lucky's a flipper. It's kind of an unlucky matchup, I think. All it takes is one lucky little send into the air, and Hypershock's not going to be having a good night, I think. So I got it unlucky.
Lucky, for sure, is one of the surprises of the field, with its driving being the main thing carrying the spot. Lucky is like the Cavs after they drafted LeBron on a terrible team, propped up by one amazing teammate. That teammate for Lucky is their driver, who has almost single-handedly taken Lucky from a jobber to a contender. Can they take down Hypershock in the first round? That'll be a tough one. It's a tall ask for the Canadian team. This match will come down to the ground game. And as we saw in Lucky's last fight, that's something that it can lose. I think Hypershock is going to come out on top here because it's going to get underneath Lucky and take the victory here. Now, I do think it's really important that Hypershock wins, because if that nincompoop brony Riptide advances, I think that Hypershock stands a really good chance of beating Riptide. Now, we got the matchup that everything is riding on for Sleepy right here. These bots both have caressed the giant nut at one point in their careers. We have Endgame over by Macho and the defending giant nut holder and caresser Tantrum with his tiny little hands. Kristen, who is going to win this fight and why?
Tantrum, they've had a rough season after winning the giant nut last year, and I wondered if they would even make it into the tournament. But of course, the selection committee gave us this golden matchup between two previous giant nut holders, because why not? We love the drama. These two bots have fought twice before, and both times the win went to Endgame. So will tonight be the same outcome, or will Tantrum finally have what it takes to beat the Kiwis? Ooh. I have a feeling tonight is going to be a three-peat for Endgame, and they're going to get the win again. When you see two vertical spinners going against each other, you have to go with the bigger one. It just makes sense.
Tantrum's coming in, didn't have a good season so far. He's the underdog, and he's going to pull through. That cute little face of his is determination. He's feeling it. He's feeling our love. Those of us who are not giving up in him, we are going to power him. We're going to push him to victory. Those little fists full of fury. He's ready. I feel it. It's Tantrum.
We have an incredible matchup. Macho is pretty surprised that Tantrum made it in after a piss poor showing last week after its self-rider and its tiny little hands failed him. But if there is one thing from the last 2 years that Macho has learned, it's that you cannot count out Tantrum and its tiny little hands. That bot is built like a rock. It's quick, can get under opponents, and is expertly driven by a fantastic team. Anytime you count Tantrum out, he proves you wrong. It's just so hard to pick either of these bots. because either of these bots don't lose very often. Macho believes in the tiny little hands. Don't worry, Tantrum. Macho will hold that Whopper for you. Tiny hands, big hands, small hands, giant hands. Tantrum will have a Whopper that Macho will feed to him so his hands doesn't look so tiny and no one makes fun of him. Very interesting matchup. We got the awesome Copperhead, which is somehow a 10 seed, and we got Rotator over by Kristen. Kristen, who's gonna win this matchup and why?
This is gonna be a good matchup. Both teams, they come out with clear strategies, and it's just really fun to watch them go out and do their thing. So excited for this matchup. The Achilles heel for Rotator lately, though, has been when they go on the defensive instead of playing aggressively. I don't know why he does it. You cannot just try and run away from Copperhead here. That cannot be your strategy tonight. He will catch up and he will bite you. I do think both bots will get a few good hits in, but ultimately Copperhead is going to get the win.
I put up for Copperhead. I think that low point of gravity versus that big old bot, you know, the smaller size, it's going to be kind of hard for Rotator. Yeah, I'm putting for Copperhead. That's a strong
Copperhead.
little...
Yeah, big puncher.
Them egg beater spinners are nasty.
Another very volatile matchup between two heavy hitters. I think what's going to be the difference here is how much power is behind Rotator's weapon. All season, Victor Soto has been struggling with power behind Rotator's blade. If Victor Soto has that up to 100%, that bot will be dangerous. Dangerous, yeah! But is he more dangerous than Copperhead? Hell no. Macho does not see a world that Copperhead will not come out with a victory here. Other than a loss to our pizza lord and all-powerful god Ripperoni, who is seated below Copperhead for some reason, Copperhead has looked locked in and basically annihilated everyone in its path. They have not been close, right? So this fight will be quick. A quick, swift death for Rotator, I think. All right, so our next matchup is the Jabroni Witch Doctor over here, I guess, and Jackpot. Two vertical spinner matchups. Kristen, who is going to win this matchup and why?
So Witch Doctor was on a pretty hot streak until Minotaur put them back in their place last week, which we loved. But I don't think that one loss is enough to shake up the team of Witch Doctor. Jackpot has been so-so this year. Nothing super impressive, but also nothing super jabroni-esque either. We're not huge Witch Doctor fans on this show, but you have to hand it to them. They've been pretty powerful this year, and I think they're going to get the win tonight with a knockout.
Jackpot winning. I was looking at Witch Doctor's matchups. I think if they were having such a role, it's because I think they got some easy matchups. It's like, oh wow, they're winning so much, but it's like, well, I hope they would against who they were fucking fighting. Like, what the hell?
Damn!
Spitting facts.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking it's gonna be Jackpot.
Another insane seeding. We have Witch Doctor here at number 3. On what planet is Witch Doctor seated ahead of Huge, Quantum, and any other 3-in-1 team? Whatever. Jackpot does not do a lot of things particularly well, but it does have a very powerful vertical spinner. Unfortunately, he's going against Witch Doctor, which does almost everything well. It's very durable, fast, and powerful, and can flip itself over. Witch Doctor got humbled by the number 1 seed Minotaur last week, and has to bounce back with a bot with a dangerous weapon. Witch Doctor for sure has the durability and speed advantage, but the power of the weapon may be pretty close. I think the difference here is that Witch Doctor's spinner takes way less time to spin up to full speed than Jackpot's does. I do think that Jackpot is more than capable of landing a big hit on Witch Doctor, but I think it's going to take a very big mistake from Witch Doctor to have that happen. So I am unfortunately thinking that Witch Doctor is going to win this one. I would love to be wrong though, for the first time ever.
Yeah, I'd be okay
I would love
with
that.
it too.
I would love that. I would welcome that. Macho often doesn't welcome him to be wrong because he often isn't wrong. And in fact, he has never been wrong about anything. So this will be the first time. All right, next matchup. We got Lockjaw over by Macho, and we got Bloodsport over by Kristen. Kristen, who's gonna win this one and why?
You know, there was a time where we thought that Bloodsport could possibly win the Giant Nut. It's kind of crazy to think about now because they've had some pretty spectacular losses, but also the same could be said for Lockjaw. I think the difference maker in this matchup is that Donald Hudson is a beast behind the wheel and can easily pivot when his original plan goes to shit. Bloodsport really only has one strategy, and that is to have their weapon powered up to full speed and drive at the opponent. If they can't make that happen, chances are they will not get the win. So that is why I am picking Lockjaw.
I got Lockjaw winning too. I don't know. Like, I think the forks, being able to get up underneath Bloodsport, like Lockjaw's forks are gonna be like what helps it a lot. Bloodsport's like match. Did you see Bloodsport's match against Beta? It was just like it was sad.
Yeah,
It was really sad. Yeah, I think it's gonna have a hard time with Lockjaw.
This is an interesting fight with two surprising contenders, right? Lockjaw has finally looked solid with Donald Hudson at the controls and will always be a bot to be taken seriously. It's run into some terrible luck and some terrible losses the last couple of years, but don't scoff at Lockjaw. Lockjaw is the real deal. Bloodsport pulled it together after an embarrassing one-hit KO after when it was playing Copperhead. That was insane. Watching Lockjaw go against horizontal spinners, he brings out his secret weapon. His secret weapon. He got this big ass diamond wedge he puts on the back of Lockjaw. And what it does is it's designed to take that energy of that horizontal spinner and send that bot sky high. Because if there's one thing that horizontal spinner bots hate, it's getting off balance. A horizontal spinner getting off balance is like watching Mark Zuckerberg talk. It just makes everyone uncomfortable. Lockjaw is all about versatility and waiting for the best moment, and I think that will be the difference, as Lockjaw has many different avenues to win, while Bloodsport only has one. Once Bloodsport gets off its game over, right? Lockjaw is going to be all up in its face. Donald Hudson's going to be using that diamond wedge. It's going to send that bot flying, and then he's going to go in for the kill. I think Lockjaw is going to come in with a victory here, and it will be an incredible driving performance by Donald Hudson. Calling it now. We got Huge over by Macho, and Scorpios, I guess, over by Kristen. Kristen, why is Huge going to win this match, and tell us why?
Thank you for asking. So here, I will absolutely agree with Amber's motto of big bots. It's big fun. Huge has this win in the bag, folks. Scorpio stands little chance of getting any meaningful hits on Huge and is basically guaranteed to get slapped into some part of the battle box tonight by Huge's giant bar spinner. This could honestly be a one and done match depending on where Huge hits Scorpios. Regardless, I will be excited to see Huge get that win that they so greatly deserve.
I think it's like the Beta versus the Bloodsport matchup that I just mentioned. It's like the physical matchup is just not there. I think Huge is going to win. I don't know what the hell Scorpios could do. And I was watching Scorpio's match against Ribbot. He couldn't even take Ribbot's decorative armor. You know, like the little frog, like paper it has on top?
Right.
It looked like a frog. It didn't even take it off. Like that was on Ribbot the entire match. And his weapon is like a vertical weapon that's supposed to come down, and he couldn't take the stuff off the top of his bot. So like I don't know. I think Huge has been, you know, the past like when I first saw Huge coming on, I was like, what the hell is that? This ain't gonna do nothing. But this season, this thing going crazy. They're just not compatible. You know, I don't think Scorpios can do anything. There's just no compatibility there for him to be able to attack Huge.
Huge, while its design looks ridiculous, and it does, right? Huge looks a little strange. It is perfectly designed, and it's the ultimate matchup disaster, right? No one builds a bot to go against a bot like Huge, right? Because no bot looks like Huge, right? You have to completely change up your strategy, and it has worked, right? The last couple years, Huge has, without question, been the most unlucky bot in the entire field. It has lost in ways, quite frankly, that I have never seen before. But this year, he has finally unlocked some chakra, some like next gear, 6th gear, 5th gear. I don't know what happened, right? He went to the mountains, he trained, he drove Huge every single day. It is look completely different. And even the driving of Huge has always been a little strange. Even the driving of Huge has been incredible. Now, Huge has completely annihilated all of its opponents. It is undefeated and somehow is a number 6 seed below Witch Doctor and Hydra. Are you serious? Anyways, I don't know who Huge pissed off, but it won't matter because this will be a wash, baby. Scorpios will probably come in with something to stick in the wheels or, you know, do some stupid bullshit like that. But Kristen, let's be honest with ourselves. We've seen lots of people do that to Huge. Has it ever worked?
No.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. And looking at this section of the bracket, Macho does not see a matchup that Huge does not just win automatically, besides a maybe Bloodsport. This is for sure Huge's bracket to lose at a 6 seed. And I don't think Scorpios is anywhere near the caliber to stop this bot, right? This is Huge's year. This is Huge's bot bracket to win, right? Don't let the seeding fool you. This bot is legit. Lock it in, 100%. Win, big bots, big fun, baby. All right, and for our final matchup of the night, we got Claw Viper, who is another criminally low seed, and we got Mad Catter over by Kristen. Kristen, who's gonna win this match?
This fight's gonna be awesome. Both bots, they like to rush out at the start immediately, or in Claw Viper's case, they like to just kind of rush and start grappling. But I really hope Mad Catter doesn't come out with that weird fork thing they've had recently, because it has hurt them in the past.
Oh, just yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, get the fork out of the way and let the spinner lay carnage to your opponents. Like, let the bot do what it's meant to do. So I hope they come out tonight strong. But even if they do have the fork, I still think Mad Catter has an advantage of having a weapon here. I know that doesn't mean a ton with Claw Viper this year because they've just been crazy. Surprised us all. I did go back and forth in my brain. I was like, who could win this fight? It was a very tough one to pick. But, you know, it depends on the day, the temperature, the weather, whether or not Martin Mason had his Wheaties for breakfast. So I hope that he's game ready. But I'm going with Mad Catter for the win.
I'm agreeing. I'm thinking Mad Catter. That thing spins up so fast, and he's been having some really good driving this season, as always. Claw Viper, I think, even though, you know, he's like, oh, it's been really good, I think he's had some lucky matchups, too. Like, as far as, like, physicality-wise, I think Claw Viper has had some lucky matchups as far as what design that bot is versus what it's fighting. I think it's going to have a harder time with Mad Catter here, trying to get onto him and make some damage.
Now, towards the bottom of the bracket, we have an interesting matchup with two great bots. Claw Viper, without question, is the biggest turnaround of the year. Claw Viper this year have went from jobber to contender almost overnight. Mad Catter has had a bit of a weird season with 2 losses. One of those losses coming to the biggest, because I can't think of that name that Mad Catter lost to. And it starts with R. What that bot's name is! But do you think those 2 losses are going to slow down Martin Mason and Mad Catter? Hell no. Sure, Claw Viper has speed, but do you know what else had speed? Elon's rocket, and we all know how that went. Mad Catter is going to come in, get under Claw Viper, and send this control bot into the sky. Yeah, Mad Catter is going to have to wait to the right moment and have to avoid the box rush. But once they do, this match is as good as done. Mad Catter is the best bot east of the Mississippi, north of the South Pole, past Mars, and tonight is going to prove it. Mad Catter with the upset here will lead Mad Catter further into the bracket, just like it deserves. Ooh, yeah! Mad Catter, baby. I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out. This was a big success. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sleepy, for hanging out. Battlebots pregame show, baby. It keeps going on. We'll be talking about the next half of the bracket next week. I believe Lily Bell will be the guest next week. See you guys later.
Thanks for joining.